You may have noticed that last week Neil Melancon did not join us for the bottom line. That is because right now he is in South America with the LSU AgCenter's Ag Leadership Program Class 12, but he's able to join us now via Skype from Argentina. Neil, I know you're going to give us a full report next week about the trip, but how has it been so far?
Well, Avery, it's been a real interesting experience, mostly because I've been able to see and do some of the things I've read about firsthand here. For instance, in Chile, while I was there, I went to a market where they were distributing food, and it was interesting to see all of the various vendors and all of the vehicles moving back and forth. It was just pure chaos for a while there, and that was kind of interesting to see how all of this food moved for from the local farmers who were about 100 of them or so in a 70-mile radius around Santiago to this market, and then from that market to the restaurants and the supermarkets. You got a sense that it was kind of the heartbeat of food distribution around there. In Argentina, we finally got to see some of our first rains of the trip, and you could see how it was important. That very day, those Argentinian rains were hitting in the humid Pampas region. The Chicago markets were down about 20 cents due to these rains that were breaking the drought there. And I got to meet one of the local farmers there, Alejandro Calderon. So you could see how much the rains meant to Senor Calderon there. And, another thing that we got to talk to him about was the fact that they have 35% export tariffs on all soybeans leaving the country, but that's in addition to 50% rates, land rates that they have to pay for their rent, so that leaves very little for them day to day after everything's brought in. And I'll give you guys on that, particularly on the drought. You'll get to see the corn that I saw directly from the fields next week.
Well, Neil, I know that every week you report on the markets in South America, how the weather and crops there affect our markets here. What's it like to see it firsthand?
Well, it's pretty amazing just from the point of view. If you can imagine something like Kansas or Oklahoma, large open fields as far as the eye can see, with South Louisiana summer weather, humid, wet conditions, at least as far as we got to see. And that's kind of what it's like in the humid pampas growing regions of Argentina. You know, a lot of times South America conjures up Amazon rainforest, but it's really not like that at all. It's just a very unique climate. These incredible growing seasons that the farmers in my class are amazed by and kind of wish they had from the point of view of growing conditions, but from the point of view of all the opposition they get to their own profit margins, they weren't too excited about that. So it's kind of a give and take situation here.
Well, it's good to get that perspective. Thank you so much, Neil Melancon, talking to us via Skype from Argentina. And remember, you can listen to Neil's reports on the Louisiana Farm Bureau Radio Network. For a list of stations where you can tune in, just click on over to our website, twilatv.org, and look for the LFB radio link on the left side of the homepage. Well, that does it for this edition of This Week in Louisiana Agriculture. Next week, Mike, Neil, and the gang will be back from their trip in South America, and they'll share everything they learned with Ag Leadership Class 12. So until then, you can listen and look at all of our stories online at twilatv.org. For all of us here on the Twila team, I'm Avery Davidson. Thank you for joining us. Hope to see you again right here next week.